Okay, so today I want to talk about how you can juggle a little bit of everything in all the facets of your life without burning yourself out. Hi, this is Melissa Dillon, and I'm your host today on Have More Time, a Raising Kindness podcast that is dedicated to supporting you in your journey to have a life that you love with your kids, a life full of more joy and more time that's mindfully thought through and that you can enjoy with all of your loved ones, including the stuff that you love to do on your own. And one of the things you love to do on your own is to get stuff done, right? And all of us want to figure out how to get more done in less time. But the reality is, we have so many facets of our life, especially if we have kids and we're working parents and we have goals all rolled into one in our life. It's really hard to juggle it all without starting to feel burned out. So, how do people do it? Well, first of all, everyone doesn't get everything done all at the same time. But there is a strategy that you can do in 2020 that will help you have a clearer understanding about what you should be focusing on right now, where your focus should be dedicated in the near future, and then feeling peace of mind and letting go of the things that you may push back to later on in the year. Now, I'm super excited about this because this is actually a strategy that I have figured out on my own that has really worked, and I call it modes of dedication. So before we get into what modes of dedication is, I want to go into what modes of dedication is for. And it is for managing and organizing your time across all facets of your life without feeling overwhelmed and having a very clear picture and plan about how much time you're going to dedicate to each of those facets. So, what are the facets of life? I can give you 5. You can name these whatever you would like, but this is widely considered. If you Google the 5 F's, you may come across something very similar to what I'm about to share with you, but I call it the 5 facets of life personally. So number 1 is spirituality or faith. You don't have to be religious for that one, but it's just one of the popular ones that's out there as an option for you. Number 2 is personal health. This would include exercise and diet. Number 3 is your family. Of course, with your kids and your spouse, they are super important. But your personal health, if you aren't healthy, then you can't be everything that you want to be for your kids. And I know we can get very deep into that topic, but I wanted to throw out there, why is family three levels down? That's why, because your inner and outer body needs to be in a healthy state of mind and body to be the best that you can be for your family, even though they are very, very high in importance. Then you have your friends and fun, is number 4. Number 5 is your finance and work. So you could put these in any order that you'd like, but for all intensive purposes today, I'm putting it in that order for you today. Now, personally, I like to really sit down and think about, okay, what's really important to me for this year? And I'll usually just pick 2, and I highly recommend that for you to say, okay, I mindfully want to focus the next 90 days. So I'll break it up into 90-day periods or sprints for each reevaluation of how I'm spending my time. So for the next 90 days, for example, family and work or finance are very, very important to me right now. So I'm spending a lot of time in those 2 facets. Now you can pick 2, and then that's where the majority of your time is going to be spent, whether it's your work time or your free time. You're just going to pick 2 of the facets. And then what do you do with the remaining 3? So everything, all the cups need to be filled on some way or another. And this is where things get really tricky. It's like, well, how do I do everything? How do I juggle it all? So this is where the fun part comes in, the modes of dedication. So what I have done for myself is taken lots of different parts of my life and gone, okay, well, actually, let me backtrack a little bit because, again, I haven't reminded you in a while, but I do all of these episodes very raw, so sometimes I'll go down a rabbit hole, and then I go, oh, wait, got to digress. So I'm gonna pause for a moment and tell you the modes of dedication and what they are. So the first mode of dedication is minimum. So what is the minimum amount of time that you need to dedicate to each facet or each task or each project in your life that will leave you feeling gratified. So as long as you feel like, okay, I'm cool. I'll take exercise for an example. That's a popular one, so I'm going to use that, and it's super easy to explain how the modes of dedication work. So a minimum for exercise that's recommended is 150 minutes. But for me personally, I'm like, if I exercise 2 days a week, I feel pretty good. I feel like if I'm really busy with other things in my life going on, say there's an emergency and I have to dedicate a bunch of time on that, to leave me feeling like I have enough energy throughout my week or, on the day, I feel like I need about 2 30-minute to 45-minute sessions of exercise per week. Anything less than that, I start to feel sluggish and out of it. My mind isn't as clear. There are a number of negative impacts that happen if I exercise less than 2 days a week. So what is that for you? And I'm choosing exercise as my example for the purpose of this show, but pick anything, anything in your life that you're like, oh, how do I squeeze that in? So figure out what the minimum amount of time is that you're really looking to spend on whatever it is that you're concerned about, and establish what is my minimum that will leave me feeling gratified and not negatively impacted. So there's no negative impact. What's that threshold for you? The second mode of dedication would be maintenance. So for me, for exercise, I like to work out 3 to 4 days a week if I can get to a point where it's a little bit more maintained. Maybe I'm going down a slow road of accomplishing a goal of losing a little bit of weight. Like for right now, I want to lose a couple inches. So I know that I need to do at least 4 days a week to do that. But I will feel gratified with 3 to 4 days a week of exercise every week. What is that for you? Now, maintenance could also be, if you're taking exercise as the literal example, 3 days a week will maintain pretty much anyone once you hit your goal and you've accomplished, say last year your goal was to lose a bunch of weight and now you just want to maintain that, then 3 days a week would help you to maintain that throughout 2020 while you focus on other things. So again, I'll ask you, for maintenance, now you need to note, all right, for maintenance mode to leave me at status quo, what will keep me gratified? And now we're just beyond the threshold of negative impact. So minimum is, okay, right just before that threshold of now it's negatively impacting me because I'm not doing this thing. But maintenance might be just a little bit more than that, okay? And mode of dedication number 3 would be focus. So now this is, what I was saying earlier with your 5 facets of life. Which 2 for the next 90 days have you chosen to focus on? Now, how many hours, and it can be different, it's different for everything. But say we're going to do exercise. If you're doing something that's really strenuous and your goal, the main focus for your personal health is to lose 50 pounds or to run a half marathon or do a triathlon in the spring, those kinds of things, you have to do your research to figure out, okay, what do I really need to dedicate? How many hours do I need to dedicate to hit my goal? So you've got a goal focus, and that's where the focus mode of dedication comes in. Now, in the beginning of this show, I told you that one of my facets of focus right now in 2020 is my family. So my time with my family is sacred, meaning that I don't work overtime, I don't work nights, I don't work weekends, and I get up earlier in my morning so that I can have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of my morning where things are comfortable and so slow paced and I'm feeling good. I'm getting little conversations in with my husband, little conversations in with my son. We get to enjoy breakfast together because that's a priority for me. Maybe it's the morning is not a good time for you. That's okay. You can find that time elsewhere, but I'm just saying this is for me. And you have to decide, if family is your focus right now. And by the way, it is okay if family is not one of the 2 facets that you're choosing right now. That doesn't mean that you're not dedicating time to them. It just means that you have to make a priority to set aside hours for other parts of your facets. So please don't misconstrue or misunderstand what I'm saying. Family does not always have to be the number 1 or number 2 facet that you're focusing on, but that does not mean that you're not prioritizing or you need to feel guilt for that. Because sometimes it's just going to be that Maybe your friends really need you right now and you need to spend a little bit more time with friends. Maybe just this week you change the facet of focus. For example, a couple weeks ago, my husband said, my friend really needs me right now. So he chose, and I supported him, to go spend a couple of days with his friend to support him through a hard time. And that means, I mean, when you say yes to one thing, you have to say no to another. And sometimes that does mean, and it's okay to say, family, I need to spend my time away from you so I can go help my friend or go help with this crisis, or I need to focus on this because it's important to me for my own bucket list to run this triathlon. And the nice thing about that is having that positive, proactive communication with your loved ones helps them to understand your place. And especially when you don't have guilt. I feel like I'm going down one of those rabbit holes, but I just wanted to be clear here that there is, regardless of the facet that you choose, as long as you're mindful and thoughtfully proactive and including your family in your goals, it does make it a lot easier. And week to week, things could change, and that's okay. Which brings me to letting you know that sometimes, that 2 hours that I would really prefer, not that I am expecting or that I'm locked down on having, I would prefer to have those 2 hours of time at home before I leave for work in the mornings. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Maybe I stayed up late because I chose to enjoy time with my husband the night before, or maybe I stayed up late because I was enjoying a good book and I stayed up late and I need to sleep in because I need my time, my hours to sleep so that I'm good and showing up, which is part of our personal health, right? Personal health of the 5 facets of life. If I'm not rested, I can't be my best self the next day. So those kinds of things, it's just to keep in mind is that if you say yes to something, you might be saying no to something else that may shift the way that you spend your future time, whether it be tomorrow or next week or next month. Keeping that in mind, whatever you're choosing to do with your time in the present may put your future self in a different situation than you had preferred. And that's okay too. So that's the nice thing about having those modes of dedication. Is like, okay, cool. I am very aware of what kind of time I need to spend on having that maintenance mode. I know if I make this decision, then maybe I won't hit my minimum mode and I'm going to start to feel sluggish, or I'll feel down on myself or feel guilty. Then you at least have that established for whatever it is in your life. You can apply this to anything. For example, I'll put you, if you haven't noticed, this episode's a little ranty, but I think this is important, especially because I'm introducing you to my modes of dedication, and it's something I'm going to bring up a lot because I'm writing a book on this, and the modes of dedication is included in my book, and I want to go really deep into this topic, and this is where it starts. This is the origin. So one example of something that's it may sound silly at first when I say it, but let's say getting ready in the morning. So say the average person gets ready in the morning between 30 and 45 minutes at a time. Maybe it takes you as long as an hour to get ready. But how much faster could you get ready? So maybe if it takes you an hour to get ready, maybe that would be a focus level of getting yourself ready in the morning. But if you're running late, or you'd rather eat breakfast with your kiddos, or you want to spend some time working toward a goal, or you want to fit a workout into your morning routine, you could choose to move getting ready in the morning from 1 hour to 30 minutes. And maybe 30 minutes is the minimum amount of time that you can get ready in the morning, so that you have that extra half hour to spend on whatever else it is that you choose to say yes to with your time. Or another small thing you can apply the modes of dedication to is meals. So if you love to cook and that brings you joy, and that means that you spend an hour and a half or 2 hours on your meals in the evening, then that is great. That is awesome that you get to enjoy that time. If you don't like cooking, or you're short on time, or any of those things, we all know that we can throw something together pretty quick, 15, 20 minutes, but would you feel good about that meal? Is it a healthy meal? Was it thought through? Was it drive-through that was just convenient in the moment, but now you kind of feel yucky? This is where the modes of dedication come in. And so what I want you to do, over the next week or so, I invite you to consider the modes of dedication in lots of things that you do. Anytime that you feel yucky, you can go, okay, so is it because I didn't spend enough time on this particular part of my life? Is it because I made a choice that now I have less time? Where did I make the choice that took the time away from me? A recent interview that I heard with Dr. Tasha Eurich, who is the author, the best-selling author of the book Insight that you can get on Amazon. I'm super excited. I haven't picked it up yet, but I cannot wait to read it because it's just so good about the insight about who we are and why we do the things we do. And one of the things that she says is that something that we're doing that's detrimental to us is asking, why did that happen? Why does this happen to me? Asking the why questions. And you'll hear a lot of experts that still continue to tell you that you have to ask why, what is your deeper why? And I think I've even said this in earlier episodes, but from now on, I'm taking that out of my vernacular with great practice, because instead what she encourages us to do, what high achievers do, and what people who accomplish things and feel good about themselves do, is instead of asking why, they ask what. Like, what is it that I could have done differently with my time? What did I really enjoy about this that I want to enjoy more of? What is it that I didn't enjoy about what I'm doing with my time that maybe I need to stop doing? What is it that I could have done differently? You see how, maybe asking those kinds of questions can help you really get down to the nitty-gritty about how you should be spending time, how much time you should be allocating, and then releasing yourself of feeling any guilt with how you spend your time, because it's already thought through. And as you go, and it's not like you have to sit down and journal about all of this and figure it all out. It's just as you go along. So anytime your body's telling you, this doesn't feel right to me about how I'm spending my time right now, then go back to that thought of your modes of dedication. Okay, is it because this is conflicting with what I had said that I was going to commit myself to in 2020? I'm going to leave it here. I think that this is a lot to take in. I've introduced you to the 5 facets of life, if you haven't heard of them already. And I've also introduced you to my modes of dedication. And I'm hoping that really helps you to kind of have a definitive process about how to evaluate your time and how to listen to your body to determine how you can ebb and flow and ease your way into spending your time more wisely on the things that you love and the things that you enjoy and the people you enjoy. Thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate your time, and I look forward to speaking with you or having this conversation with you next time. Be on the lookout for an invitation too. I'm going to start working toward opening our community for Raising Kindness on raisingkindness.org. And you can actually sign up to be one of our really founding members and have a say in how it's built and what we offer there and how I can better support you. I really look forward to hearing from you and hearing all of your questions. We'll be opening a question board where you'll actually be able to ask your questions, and I may even cover them here on the show so that we can help each other live a deeper life of meaning and joy with our family. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with you next time.